the Don't Fight Your Demons album, the last song, The Forsaken, it kind of ties into all this, but it also goes into the title of Don't Fight Your Demons of you've been taken for granted, and you could take that literally as you slash Arrested Development, or the idea we're talking about of this what music has become, and
Yeah,
especially the artists that from the 70s, 80s, 90s in particular. So doing a three project thing, but then starting it with Don't Fight Your Demons, was that some sort of tacit acknowledgement of that from the beginning? Like what?
definitely. And I
Okay.
mean, and to be quite honest, I mean, even on that project, like I said on the song We'll See, I did express my sentiments on the song Forsaken. Um, you know, I've been sort of saying peace and love, everybody, salute, I'm out since that project. So even on the
Mhm.
song Amazing, it's like this has been incredible, like this whole journey from our debut in 1992 to 2024. It has been an amazing journey. Like I'm just so grateful. 32 or more years. Um, I have nothing, you know, that I'm, you know, all the way disappointed about. And I have my jaded moments, but I feel really great about what we've done, and I feel really great about the output, of what Arrested Development has meant to the hip hop scene. And I feel like, to be quite honest, I feel like if I did retire, hopefully people would look back and start to enjoy what we've already put out a little more and realize what I would consider the brilliance of what the group has done. I feel like we've done some really brilliant music that maybe can't even be fully recognized without us stopping for a minute and just check it out again, revisit it, listen to it.
Well, I think that ties into what we were saying also about arrogance as well, because we have such a onslaught and a deluge of information, of music, of movies, of TV shows, of
Yeah,
media, period, that
yeah.
we don't get that time to really, like I imagine you did, just like me, sit in our room or
Yep,
wherever we were and just listen to
yeah.
music by
There you go.
ourselves and
Yeah.
study it and like
Yep.
look at the album cover for 3 days in
Yep.
a row.
That's right. That's right. And that's exactly what I think a lot of music deserves. It deserves a real chance to just sit with it and really try to determine, unless it's just cookie cutter stuff. But like the stuff, like to me, the stuff we've been putting out, Kafig and I, from a hip hop standpoint, has been very much that. And I've even done a solo album called Expansion that I think people should revisit and really listen to. Um, it's a lot of really deep stuff there. A lot of
I
great stuff.
agree. And one of the deeper songs on Bullets in the Chamber is the Meek. And you're talking about in your lifetime thinking the USA won't be a relevant empire.
Yeah,
So we've had tremendous political upheaval in the last several years. And
sure.
sadly, it seems like we're heading there again.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
true.
so is it purely a political thing, or do you think it's a myriad of things that are leading to your thoughts that you address on the Meek?
For me, I think it's a myriad of unresolved issues. I think America has to, if it wants to remain a power that is respected throughout the world or become again a power that's respected throughout the world, I think that it has to repent of some of the sins and redeem itself from some of the sins that it has committed throughout the years of its existence. It's a new nation. I mean, America, I don't know, 280, I'm not sure, I haven't done the count lately, years of its existence. Um, it's not a very old nation, yet the impact that it's had on numerous indigenous peoples throughout the planet, its own citizens here in its country, um, has been, I mean, you can't measure it easily. The only people that would think that America has been an exceptional nation, uh, meaning when I say exceptional, like some people say it's an exceptional nation or like exceptionalism, would be people that just haven't done the proper research as to what actually has been the cost of his success. They just haven't thought about it.
Or it
And
hasn't negatively affected them.
or it hasn't, and that's probably because it hasn't negatively affected them, and that's why they likely haven't thought about it in the first place. So,
Yeah.
you know, but when you do think about it, and when you do a little, just a peruse of the facts of the numerous people that have been crushed or hurt from this country's rise, then you start to see a different narrative that, wow, there's a lot of skeletons in this closet that's bursting at the seams. And a nation just simply can't stay powerful when a lot of its citizens are not even happy with the point of the nation's existence. I mean, you just look at history from Roman Empire to any other empire where it starts to fold from within, not even from an outside enemy necessarily. I just feel like it's inevitable. Now, whether it's in my lifetime, which is what I talk about on the Meek, who knows? I mean, I might die today, but if but the concept is still the same. I feel like something's got to give.
Yeah. It's it is a critical moment for the country and for America and all of its people, and that um, ties into these last three albums that Arrested Development's done, and I would even argue your solo album in there and the mixtape. Let's not forget the mixtape on the cutting room
Mixtape,
floor
yeah, on the cutting room floor. Yeah.
out there as well for everybody to digest as well. But that being said, it seems um, that Arrested Development's music taking it back from the 90s and even up through until these last three records in 2020 and the mixtape and your solo album, it seems a lot more forceful in a sense of I have something important I need to get off my chest or I need to say. It seems a
Yeah.
lot more like forceful is one way, but a lot more like uh pay attention now. Like listen, as
Yeah.
opposed to I think a lot of the earlier music because of the more for me spiritual sound and vibe of the music, it
Yeah.
you could digest it in a different way. Whereas that's part of what when I started to get in touch with you and all this stuff, I was excited because I was like, man, I've been listening since before they were even on Chrysalis, and this is a
Yeah.
whole different thing going on now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's multiple reasons, but what happened personally? We've talked about some of the professional stuff, but what was happening personally that had this creative epiphany happen?
For me, I think for me, it was really as simple as trying to decide which direction to go. Do I embrace where boom bap hip hop has sort of gone to, or do I continue to chart a new course? And so, what I mean, like to me, as I study certain artists, De La's, and this is my perspective as an outsider, De La's 3 Feet High and Rising album had a very similar, or we at least had a very similar, uh, if the word is naivete or just a positive, sunny energy on our 3 years, 5 months album as the 3 Feet High and the Rising album. But soon after that 3 Feet High Rising album, they did De La's Dead, which to me was their way of embracing more of hip hop and making sure they didn't get sort of pigeonholed into a sort of hippie alternative hip hop moniker. And to me, they would continue to do that with Balloon Mind State onto Stakes is High or all the various records they did. Um, to me, they just continued to go down that road. To me, Tribe did the same thing. When Tribe's first distinctive album came out, it was, in my opinion, more cerebral and conceptual. And then by the time Low End came out, it was a lot more grounded to the streets, in my opinion. Um, I feel even Gangstar's album was that way. To me, Step in the Arena had more of a to me, a little bit more conceptual, happier energy to it. And then as they moved forward, it got a little bit more street and a little bit more grounded to what was happening in the streets. To me, that's exactly what I decided would configure to do on these last three projects. Like, okay, let's ground it more to what actually has been the prevailing energy of what boom bap and hip hop has been doing. Like, let's ground it more to that energy. And to some extent, it's less sunny, but it's another side of the same coin to me. And like, I loved hearing, when I heard Guru, like with songs like Take It Personal, it didn't sound like it sounded a little bit more gritty than the Step in the Arena album, but it was still, like I said, two sides of the same coin in the same group. And it's like, wow, okay, they're going there. Even when De La, you know, started talking about, peas porridge in the pot and talking about, heads are going to get flown. It was like a totally different energy than
Right.
what 3 Feet High and Rising was talking about. But it's the same group, but they're just sort of addressing sort of two different worlds that they both navigate. Both worlds, I should say, they navigate. I mean, we talked about it on People Every Day, where there's this world of peace and love, and then there's this world of having to fight back, right? So I just feel like it was just going more towards that grittier energy, which hip hop very much embraced over the years as the trajectory of hip hop continued to thrive. I think that was the energy of hip hop that sort of won in the overarching theme of hip hop. Like, I don't think there's a lot of Mr. Window type records being made in hip hop nowadays.